Hello, I'm Sean Skinner. Welcome to this amazing DVD entitled Agility Skating. I have researched hockey skating techniques for over 20 years, and I've taken exercises from all over the world to bring this DVD to you. This DVD is different from any other instructional ice hockey skating source in the world for two reasons. For the progression of exercises and the sheer volume of the material covered. First, and the key to this DVD, is the progression. Not just any progression, but a scientific, detailed progression of agility skating. I have organized these skating drills into chapters and a progression of movement patterns within each chapter. This DVD shows a variety of drills to work on each aspect of agility. The organization of chapters is better understood from the hockey skating flowchart. Second is the sheer volume and depth of material covered. I have synthesized and assembled a comprehensive research on this topic from over 60 years of the current body of instructional sources on skating from all over the world. This is not just my own thoughts on skating, but a presentation of all other sources combined. Where other videos and DVDs of the past have shown 10 to 15 minutes on a particular topic, I will endeavor to show over an hour and a half of techniques and exercises. There is no source, there is no place in the world where you can get the volume and the detail of training that you are about to see. I've even included a bibliography on my website so that players and coaches can see the volume and depth of research. This DVD will provide the coach or player, whether beginner or professional, with a what to do and how to do it progression to attain the ultimate level of hockey skating skill for agility skating. In today's game, the ultimate level is playing in the NHL. If a player wants to play in the NHL or just be a better player, they need to do as many, if not all, of the exercises on all of these DVDs in this series. If they can do that, they could skate better than an NHL player. I hope this extensive collection will improve hockey players for years to come. Let's get started. The next thing we need to talk about is knee bend. It's the most important thing before we do any technique out here on the ice. It works like this. Coaches have said and players have heard, bend your knees, bend your knees. So we could think that if we got into a deep knee bend like this, where the butt is sitting back, even though I'm bending a lot, I've got a good knee bend, but I really don't. My knee is back here, and I'm sitting back. So saying bend the knees doesn't equate right to the player. What we need to say is flex the ankle. If I flex the ankle, that puts the leg forward, puts the weight forward on the skate, and the knee will actually be bent out in front of the skate. If you flex your ankle, you will bend your knee. And if you bend your knee, you may not flex the ankle far enough for skating for ice hockey. It also translates like this in speed. If I bend my knee, but I don't bend it enough, and I take a push off, I end up pushing off out here this far. And if I bend my knees, well, now I can push off way out here twice as far. It's the most important thing when we talk about speed and technique, knee bend. We're going to start off here talking about body position. Almost every video that's been made in the history of hockey starts off talking about body position. But what they show is a player with their knees bent standing straight up and down, and that's just it. That's nice for a figure skater or a speed skater, someone trying to look beautiful. We're not about looking beautiful. We got to be strong. So player has good position when their knees bent and they can take the hit, the push on the skate from behind. This is good body position. In this first chapter, we're going to take a look at tight turns as a form of agility. Players use a tight turn when they're skating not at full speed, when they're skating like 50 to 75% of full speed, and they have 10 feet or more of space to make that turn. If they're skating at full speed and they don't have at least 10 10 feet of space, then they have to stop and go the other direction. We can make 2-foot turns, we can make tight turns on the inside edge and tight turns on the outside edge. Let's get into this and look at the different types of tight turns we can do. So the first type of tight turn that we see players make is a glide turn. This is coasting, and players usually get their legs in a straight line. They come in like this and they glide through. One more type of tight turn that we want to cover here is a Russian variation of tight turn. It's a combination between a glide turn and a 2-foot slalom. It would look like this. So the proper way for a player to make a tight turn is to come in with their feet spread wide and put the weight 60% on the front foot, 40% on the back. It will help the player just turn right around, along with turning the outside shoulder in. So a player comes in, puts the weight in, and leans and turns. Look at this one more time. Player comes right in and leans and turns. A new way to execute this tight turn is to make more of a stop turn with a crossover start. Research has shown that this is now the fastest way to make a tight turn. So a player skates in full speed, turns this inside foot out, and goes into a stop position, sliding around the cone. And as they're coming to a stop, they take the outside leg and thrust it over the top and quickly come back out into a quick start. It will look like this then. Now to train these tight turns, we're going to start off with a figure 8 drill just in place. We're going to focus on the 1-foot stop with the crossover quick start. It will look like this. Next exercise for tight turns is called gloves and sticks. Here a player goes around in a tight turn manner, and as they make a tight turn, they drop one glove around, they drop the other glove around, they pick up the first glove, and they pick up the second glove. And they try to go around and do this as fast as they can. It would look like this. Our next exercise is tight turns on the lines. Here we want to see if a player can keep a straight line down the ice. Tight turn, come back, tight turn, come back, so that they don't make their tight turns and coast off to one side of the ice. It would look like this. Our next exercise here is a tight turn test. This comes from Peter Twist and Twist Conditioning. So the player is going to make tight turns around all the dots here at center ice and back, and we time them to see how fast they can do this. Exercise will look like this. Start. Now we're going to take a look at a series of tight turn drills around the circle involving cones. Would look like this. Our second variation on this is an inside-out turn. Here the cones are also put outside the circle. Looks like this. Oh, I messed up right there. One more time. Oh, got to reslate it or no? Our second variation on this is an inside-out turn. Here we've taken the cones and put them on the outside of the circle. Looks like this. Our last variation here is with 8 cones. We've got 1 cone on the inside of the circle and 1 cone on the outside. A player will make a figure 8 tight turn and looks like this. Now a way that we can train these different tight turns is to go through cones, staggered cones. We're going to first take a look at the glide turn, which is 2 feet in a straight line. Would look like this. The next way that we're going to go through these zigzag cones is by a slalom. And if you remember from our Forwards Edge DVD, a slalom is skiing done with the feet spread wide. So here we go. It's a little bit slower than a glide turn. It would look like this. The last way that we're going to work on this zigzag cone pattern is with a Russian tight turn. That's the stopping tight turn where you fan the foot out and stop on that inside edge, throw the outside skate over and cross over and accelerate. So there'll be a crossover, quick start, stop, crossover, quick start, stop, turn. It'll look like this. There is one more way that we can work on this zigzag cone drill. Instead of going on the outside of the cone now, we're going to turn from the inside out, so we make slightly more than a full circle. And it would look like this. Our next exercise for tight turns is a little game. It's tight turn tag. One player's on the opposite side of the sticks, and the other player, myself, I'm trying to get them. I can go either way. I can stop in the middle. It looks like this. Another way to work on tight turns is with the tight turn peanut drill. Here's Carl to show us how this one looks. Now we're going down, we're going to make a 360-degree tight turn on every line. Looks like this. Now we're going to take a look at a 360-degree tight turn that involves a stop. This is a technique that's used for the backhand spin or the bobby-oar spin, and the opposite would be the forehand spin. And it would look like this. Now we're going to take a look at a 360-degree jump turn. And we'll do this on both blue lines. Looks like this. Our last exercise for this turning progression is to do a 360 in the air over hurdles for distance. It would look something like this.